Hello again, everybody. Cal Ewing here, and I am extremely excited to bring to you today a topic that I know very little about, that I've actually been a little bit fearful of over the past few years as I've been in real estate, just because it seems so daunting, but yet I feel in this day and age, online marketing, pay-per-click, Google advertising, that kind of thing is so critical just to where our society is right now and where it's going. So I'm extremely thrilled to bring you Lou DeMedici. I don't even think I got it right.
That's all right. It's close enough. It's not an easy name to say. It's DeMedici.
DeMedici. The wrong
DeMedici.
emphasis on the wrong syllable.
That's okay. Nice Irish name.
That's right.
First. But yeah, DeMedici, and pleased to be with you as well. Really excited to talk to you about this business and about, of course, online marketing, which is what our specialty is and what we do every single day. So
yeah, and Lou, so you're with a company called AdWords Nerds, and which is a pretty awesome name, by the way. And I've been working with AdWords Nerds actually just recently. And this is why I wanted to bring Lou in front of you guys, because just from my own conversations with Lou and his team, and what others are saying about this company, they know a heck of a lot about this online marketing world, especially when it comes to real estate investing. So can you tell us a little bit, Lou, about your company and why, and what you guys do and why you just serve real estate investors, that kind of thing?
yeah, so we've been doing this for almost 8 years, and all we do is focused on real estate investors. Dan, the founder of our company, we've been in the marketing space for much longer time as well. But what happened, he stumbled many years ago into this niche, and he worked with an investor, had incredible success. And when you have incredible success getting leads through the door in this space, it's very lucrative, right? I mean, the deals can be, if you're wholesaling 8,000, 10,000 a deal, and if you're flipping or anything else, could be I think one of the largest deals that we've seen done is a couple $100,000.
Wow.
So the deals can be very lucrative. So when he fell into it, he stumbled upon it in a sense, had a lot of success to it, and said, you know what? We're going to focus on this. This is going to be our niche. This is what we're going to do. And ever since that time, he's been dedicated to the niche of investors. We work with realtors, but realtors that are in the investment space, and they just happen to be realtors, so they can market their properties, and maybe they have a brokerage. But even at that, we don't typically work with realtors in the sense of, like, from a realtor's perspective, we really truly focus on investors. And what we found is, I think this is gonna be a trend in a lot of other areas and business areas, which is, if you work with attorneys and chiropractors and other niches, can you master all those? Can you really serve them well? Well, we found that the best way to really understand the marketing and a niche specifically is to go deep. And instead of going a mile wide and going an inch deep, we go an inch wide and a mile deep. And that's how we understand this business very well, because we're so focused in it. So that's what we've been doing for the last many years, and have had incredible success, worked with some incredible investors, and still do. And really, enjoy this space a lot.
Well, and that's what drew me to wanting to work with you guys, because I get flooded with all kinds of spam email from companies that are trying to do online marketing for my business. But they're just this broad company that they saw that I opened a new website or got a new web URL, and so I'm somehow on their list. And I haven't bothered with any of them. But when I saw that you guys work specifically with real estate investors alone, you understand what we are going through, who are clients that we're trying to target. And I think that's so important to work with a company that either is real estate investors themselves, or at least, focus on this industry and know it so well. And I think that's a great thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we see that too, not only with other marketers, with just investors themselves, which is, what do we do? How do we start this? The online, arena is pretty broad. There's a lot of things to focus on, right? There's
Yeah.
Google ads, there's Facebook ads, there's Bing, there's Yahoo, there's other ad channels, there's retargeting, there's targeting lists. And then that's one half of it, the paid media side. But then you have the other half, which is SEO, organic side, which we also focus on. So there's those two buckets, and there's so many things that need to be done in those buckets. And yeah, there are a lot of companies out there that can do those things, but I think again, they go very broad, and we end up cleaning up a lot of other companies trying this.
Yeah.
And and not that it can't be done, of course, but they try a lot of things, and usually on the paid side, especially, Google ads and Facebook ads, to learn this business can be a very expensive education. And I've had many, many clients that before they came on board spend a lot of money and they get no results. And then they talk about how it doesn't work. And in reality, it does work. It's just that you have to do the right things to make it work. So whether, it's another company, and there's a lot of marketing companies, there are other companies that can do this well. Or you learn how to do it yourself. You just really have to understand what needs to be done when you implement these strategies, because first off, you're going to waste a lot of time and effort, okay? Doing things that maybe aren't the right things to do. You're going to waste time and effort on potentially leads that are coming through the door that aren't the quality leads that you need. And then there's the money component, because when you're chasing $10,000, $20,000 and more deals, there's people chasing those deals, meaning it's competitive. And a lot of people throw money at it, which makes it a little more, pricey in a sense, or it can be. But so that means you have to allocate some budget to this if you're doing the paid media, so that money component can add up pretty quickly, and you can run out of budget. So doing this the right way with the right company, or just yourself, is super important to nail this down.
Sure. Well, let's back it up a little bit and just tell me what it is you guys do. And say I'm a real estate investor, I'm looking for motivated sellers. How do you approach someone that's new to this? Kind of explain what it is, like what Google ads are and that kind of thing, just for people that maybe aren't familiar, and then how you help specifically investors get going.
Yeah, I think a big thing about it is every business is different. Every client's different. Everybody's starting off with in a different way. Some people are newer to this, and they're trying to break into the business, and they hear that it's lucrative and whatnot. They're trying to figure it out. Okay, so we have those type of investors, and then we have other investors that are doing maybe 1 or 2 deals a month, but they know they want to turn things up, or they're just not having consistent, predictable fortune with their marketing that they're doing in general. And then we have, clients that are doing 10 deals, 12 deals a month, and we're just helping them scale and optimize and make sure they're also more consistent, predictable. So when we work with a client, what we do is we'll look at where they are, where is their baseline, right? What is it that they have from a marketing perspective? What are they doing? And what is it that there's maybe some deficiencies, or where are they struggling, and what can we assist with? So, for instance, some people, when they're looking at the online arena, they don't have any presence whatsoever. They're doing the traditional, more outbound type marketing, which is direct mail, cold calling, door knocking, bandit signs, all of the above. And while those can be effective, you're chasing deals, and you may not have an online presence. So what we'll look at is, okay, of those, what's working? I think that when we look at online, it's not necessarily an either or proposition. It doesn't have to be that. It's really a collaborative. They work together. So yeah, you may be doing those offline things, and some of them may be working, some of them may not be working, but how can you complement that with online? Because one thing's for sure, it's here, it's not going away, and it's only going to be more, it's going to be where more of the sellers are hanging out, whether they're younger, or they're 60 plus or older generation. That's where they are. Not all of them, but there's, many of them are going to be online. That's where they are. So,
Yeah.
so it's, getting, what we really want to do is figure that out. What's working, what's not, what are the struggles, what are your goals, what do we need to do to establish your online presence and establish some form of marketing. And it's going to depend on budget, needs, how quickly you want to scale. So we're looking at all those things to really kind of figure out, okay, what's the best plan moving forward to, build a successful marketing campaign. One that's predictable, one that's consistent, one that, our goal is hopefully that it's inbound, meaning that you kind of set it, and not that you forget it, because you can't really forget it, but you set it and it's creating business for you while you're doing other things, while you can focus on your business or managing your team or acquisitions or dispositions. So that's really what we do when we start out, is just, and we talked about, you and I, we talked about that, right? We tried to figure out, we spend a lot of time with this, what it is you're doing, what's working, what's not, and what your goals are, and then try to figure out the best game plan going forward and how this potentially can fit in, because maybe it's not the right fit for everybody at the moment, or maybe there needs to be a scaled down version, but just really work that through so we can, put the best plan forward.
Yeah. And what I've done in the past is it's been a lot of trial and error for me. So I've thrown money at certain avenues of marketing, whether it be direct mail, bandit signs, even like Facebook ads. And I didn't really know what I was doing. And I love the fact that you guys take a very scientific approach to it. So you're taking all that data that you've got from other clients nationwide, so you know what works on a national level, and then you're testing and slowly expanding, trying different things to figure out, what's the machine that fits your market, right? Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, there's two sides of it. It's the data, and there's an art to it. So there's a science and there's, an art. There's more instinctual and certain things that you have to test over time. And it kind of plays together. So there's the data, there's the art. And from a data standpoint, we've been collecting data for many, many years, almost 8 years in this space across the country. So we've been collecting that data and not only for Google ads, but Facebook ads and Bing and SEO. So we see that, we use that to figure out what works and to realize what doesn't work. Because even from our standpoint, as you do creative, as you figure this out, you have to be ahead of the curve, and you can't just set it and forget it. I talked about that before, but you gotta try different things so that you stay ahead of what other, and for us especially, because our clients expect that. They're coming to us because they want to know that, first off, that right out of the gate, we come out with the most successful campaigns, and we're going to have success. And then from there, we need to make sure that we stay ahead of the curve and are constantly implementing strategies that are new to keep getting that same success, and using that data, looking at what's working, what's not, from all across the board, whether it be bid strategies. And you know what, Cal, I should talk about, you asked me before, I should talk about the what are Google ads and what are Facebook ads, just as a real quick, I know most people know, but some people may not. And really, if you look at like a company like Google, take Google for example. I mean, at the end of the day, right now, they're a technology company for sure, but their predominant revenue is from ad spend, right? Is advertising. I think, and it's going to change, and this recording may go on for years, so it'll evolve. But right now, I think it's a little under 90% of the revenue comes from advertising dollars, which is huge, right? Google's a technology company, and so with that, they show ads to the masses. Usually the most obvious one that we see is from search, when we go to Google and we search for a service or a company or a product. When the search results come up, the top 3 or 4 would be paid ads. So meaning that we're paying, or our clients are paying to show up for those specific keywords. Okay. And then from there, on the bottom 10 typically is organic results. Okay. So you have the top 3 or 4 that are from paid results. So people are paying to be there, their ads to be there. And then the bottom 10 are organic results. We're paying to be there, but we don't pay unless someone clicks on our ad, which is PPC, pay per click, right? So every time someone clicks on our ad, we would pay for that. And the hope, of course, is for that individual to convert into a lead. So somebody types in sell my home fast, we show up, your ad would show up, and the hope is for them to click on that ad. There's a lot of things that we're doing to try to put the odds in our favor that they click, whether it's the copy that we're putting there, the headlines, the call outs, what we're saying in that, and also just the bid strategies in general, because there are hundreds and hundreds of keywords. Like sell my home fast is one keyword, but sell my house fast is another keyword. We buy my house is another keyword. So we have to look at this from many different keywords to show up. And if we look at Google, at the end of the day, again, their revenue is derived from advertising revenue. So there's the top 3 or 4, there's the bottom 10. Where is it going to be more consistent? Okay, if we pay them, you pay them, it's going to be more consistent. That's why, from an SEO organic perspective, it takes more time, right? They have the algorithm update so that it mixes things up, so you never quite keep, and you can game it in a sense and get more traction, but you never quite get the traction that you would as if you directly pay them to be there. So that's why Google ads and Facebook's very similar in some respects, but that's why it's so important, because you show up when people need you most, when they search for it. So just that's a little bit about the ads, and then of course with Google, now they've gone into other areas, right? They're showing ads in email. So sometimes if you're in your Gmail, you'll see a little ad show up.
Yeah.
You show up on just generic websites, and that's the Google Display Network, where your ads are showing up there.
Where stuff seems to follow you. You search it once and then they follow you all around the internet, right?
That's right. And that would be called retargeting, which means if somebody lands on your ad, clicks on your ad, shows up on your website, what are we going to do, right? We all know in this business that those who follow up and are diligent about that and have the systems and process in place win the day. Okay, we've seen this over the years. Well, retargeting is that automated follow-up plan, right? We just do it. We there's a cookie or whatnot that goes into the individual that's searching, and we're going to follow them around. And maybe today is not the time that they're ready to go, but maybe 3 months from now, 4 months from now, or maybe even longer, they're ready to go, and we stay top of mind awareness by following them around and doing the retargeting.
Yeah, and me as the provider of the service don't have to worry about that because it's just doing it. It's just automated.
Right.
So cool. Yeah. And this is what I found, because I thought, well, maybe I can figure this out myself. And so I started looking at like keywords and how much to bid on them. And it was just mind blowing, because some of the top keywords, the cost to get them, to bid them up so you get on first page was like ridiculous. But I was like, but I don't want to not use those keywords in case what I choose don't get results. And it was just like so overwhelming. that it's a real, I mean, obviously you guys have a company based on this. It's a real art, and it's something you guys must have spent a lot of time trying to figure out all the time, right? Like,
Yeah, we have, and it's
yeah.
not, rocket science per se. However,
But if it's not your main focus of your day to day, right?
it is more complicated than anyone can imagine, though, because you
Yeah.
can go super deep into the weeds as you dig in, like you said, and
Yeah.
there's just so many variables to consider to
Mhm.
have a successful campaign. And
Yeah.
the keywords are only one variable. What about the negative keywords? Okay, which means that what are the keywords that we don't want people to search us? Like I used the example before, sell my home fast. Well, what about sell my mobile home fast? Okay, like if somebody, and we have clients that are in the mobile home business, so I
Yeah.
mean it just depends on the client, but a lot of our clients are not. So if somebody types in sell my mobile home fast, mobile home we would want to add that as a negative keyword, meaning that we don't want somebody to search our business using that, because if they do and we show up and sell my home fast, we could potentially show up there.
Yeah.
We click on our stuff, we would spend time with them, energy, money on that. We don't necessarily want that to happen. So when you dig in, the keywords, the negative keywords, the bid strategies, right? Maybe we don't want to be number one for that $100 click or $50 click. Maybe we want to
Mhm.
be number three and get 4 times more clicks than the number one spot, right? Because there are bid strategies. Because at the end of the day, what this is bidding on certain keywords. There's a lot more to it than that,
Mhm.
but we have the bid strategies, the targeting, the ad copy itself, using video potentially involved. There's just a lot to consider, and then just managing the campaigns day to day. It's a full time job, and you
Yeah.
really need to actively manage it.
Yeah. And from what I gathered, you and your team, you're looking at, okay, what keywords we're using and how are they faring? How many clicks are they getting? How much are we spending per click? And then you guys are basically trying to maximize that return on investment by changing the bids, changing which keywords are used, even times of day and things like that, right? Like it's very precise.
Yeah, very
Um,
precise. So that's where it comes back to like all the data, like you
yeah.
said, which looking at that and finding out, because at the end of the day, when we look at the KPIs across the board, what we want to happen is our cost per click to go down as much as possible, if
Mhm.
possible. Sometimes it's not, because there's so much competition
Yeah.
that it's hard to bring that down.
Yeah.
But we want to bring that down as low as possible, bringing the cost per deal as low as possible,
Yeah.
so that we can have more money to spend on a deal. So if
Yeah.
we're spending $5,000 to get a deal at the end of the day, and this goes for all everything else too. I mean, you're going to measure direct mail this way or cold calling. What
Yeah.
does it cost to get you one deal? And
Mhm.
we want to minimize that as much as possible. So if it's 5,000 to get a deal, well, if we can bring that down to 3,000 or 2,500,
Mhm.
well, what does that mean? That means we're getting twice as many deals for the same budget, and we're potentially doing less work because we're getting more deals to the door. So it's about bringing that cost down, and there's more to it than just the ads. It's also the systems, the platform.
Mhm.
How good is the operator? How dialed in? How are they when they follow up on a phone call? How dialed in are they when they go meet a client and they close the deal? So
Yeah.
there's that too, because there are
Of
some
course.
operators that may be better, just a little bit better, because they have more experience, and they can their conversion to deal is 1 out of 12, whereas some maybe 1 out of 20 or 22 or whatever. And there becomes that threshold where economically, if it takes one company 30 um, quality leads to close a deal and another 10, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, who's going to, win. It's going to be that company that has a better closing ratio. So it's all these different things together. And when you look at them all together, that's what's going to make a successful business, especially from the online methods.
Sure. But that's where I feel, at least, that having someone like you guys who know this part of the business, now this is off my shoulders. Now I can focus on converting those leads into deals. I can focus on my negotiation skills, how I analyze my deals, follow-ups, those kind of things, because this is something that I can control. Whereas like trying to take that on and then also figuring out how the heck online marketing works, it just, to me, it seemed like a no-brainer to hire that out. So
yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like any business, but in this business, there's a lot to do. We wake up in the morning and you look at it, we're the CFO, we're the marketer, we're the salesperson, we're dispositions, there's a lot to do. And we have to prioritize what it is that's going to kind of be what's our highest and best use and what do we need to do in a day. And I think the power of the online marketing when it's dialed in is that it's inbound. It can potentially take some of that off of someone's plate when it's done really well. So they can focus on acquisitions, building their team, all the things they need to do day to day in the business. And let's just look at this business for what most people want it to be. It's about freedom. Right? It's about, and freedom means time. We get there through making money and having those freedoms, but it's about time. And what we want to do is eliminate certain things so that, you don't have to focus on the marketing, you have the freedoms, and you build a business where you're working, the E-Myth very famously said, on the business, not in the business. So, and that's where this can play a really big role in. And again, it's not the only this. It can. There's other ways to do it, but this is what we focus on, and we see great results for those that do it really, really well.
Yeah. Well, and I agree. Like you hear a lot of people saying that direct mail still works, and I've had results from it. But we had another gentleman on a previous interview who's doing, 100 flips a year, and he says that most of his deals come from what you guys are doing. So that really got me curious. And there's not a lot of resources out there, which is why, I wanted to have you come and talk. But the other thing is this audience here that's watching, we're all in Canada. So, one thing that we don't have the luxury of doing is going out and door knocking. It's pretty hard for us to go and put bandit signs out, even though there's ways. So someone that's investing from a distance, having something like this where you don't need to be in that market is such another advantage, I think, than, the other investors, or we don't have that other investors have, right? So using the online method, bringing people to you where you don't have to physically be there is just another way to make it easier for Canadians to do, or anyone investing out of city or state.
Yeah. Well, and you're a testament to that, right? You're in Canada, you're investing in the US, your business is based out of that. And I have numerous examples of clients right now that we work with that live somewhere and are virtually, their business is virtual. They're doing this from somewhere else. So I have a client in Hawaii who is in Cincinnati, and he doesn't even do it in Hawaii because it's so pricey from what he's found, and he's doing it in Cincinnati, and he has it, like you said, dialed in, where the marketing, we can pick it up and really move it anywhere, and it just gives you that flexibility and ability, because you don't have to do bandit signs and everything else. So it is pretty. To me, it's so cool. Like I talk to a lot of people and potential and clients as well, and to me, it's so amazing that you can close a deal on. Without even I have clients that don't even go to the house. You know what I mean? It's like they don't even have boots on the ground as a partner. They have an inspector that they hire to confirm certain things, and they lock the deal up through it's cold call or they're getting inbound leads. They send a DocuSign and they just make offers, and they know that they're going to lose some because they're not doing it in person. They get it locked up. They send out an inspector to confirm the value, and then they send it out to their, buyers list, and they're closing deals. I mean, what kind of business? What kind of business can you have where you can do that from anywhere?
It's just so amazing how the world has just opened up to us now that we have the internet and everything. It's awesome. Yeah. But then there's your ultimate freedom, so that we can all move to Hawaii and do the same thing. That's the goal.
Yeah, I talked to Mike, and he's in Hawaii, and he's got a kind of an open invitation I've never been to Hawaii, but yeah, I mean that's just incredible. If you can do it anywhere, it's pretty amazing.
Now, one question I have for you: are you able to do this in Canada? Like, obviously, there's internet, but do you guys work with clients that are marketing in Canadian markets at all?
We do, and it's interesting because I talk to a lot of, being the business strategist with the company. I usually talk on the front end of the business in a lot of ways. So I do a lot of, talking to a lot of people. It's interesting. I don't talk to that many Canadians, but I do occasionally, and we do have a few clients that are Canadian, and it just so happens that they're more in the Toronto area. So that area, that general, which is Ontario, I believe, right? Is that the province?
Nice work. Yeah.
Well, what is there? How many? I'm going to see. I said 6, so I probably should commit to that.
Oh man, you're going to get me. How many provinces?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Don't. Yeah. So yeah.
12, 13? I don't even know. Anyway,
okay. Maybe now that I'm thinking, is it 13? No. But anyway, I was trying to take a stab at a province, but yeah. So I figured, Ontario is the province, but yeah, they're doing well. It's really a very similar strategy as in the U.S. There are some things that need to be tweaked, really in any market, because what works potentially in Seattle doesn't work in Miami, right? So things have to be tweaked from a regional perspective, from even a local zip code county perspective. But it works. It works. Google and Facebook. I mean, again, part of the reason
they're sitting up here. Yeah.
The richest companies on the planet is because, in Europe, this works, and, Asia, this works. I'm not saying we're wholesaling there. I'm just saying the marketing itself works. And, especially in a place like Canada and US, I mean, virtually are so similar. I mean, laws are different, of course, but it works there as well.
Fundamentals are the same, I think. And here's the problem with Canada is all that information that you guys have publicly available is private. So I can't really find a divorce list or pre-foreclosure or a probate list. That's all private data. So I don't even know how investors are targeting potential motivated sellers when all of that is unavailable to us. So I would think that an approach like this would be one of the best ways to target motivation, just because we can't just pull lists like you can in the States. So,
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that that's not available.
Yeah. So if I were to just move my business completely in Canada, I think this would be my main approach, is just because of that. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I didn't realize that was, what about, well, I guess even from the perspective of calling, you need the list. So
that's the thing. Yeah. Like even direct mail, like you just have to pick a neighborhood, I think, and just, fire it off and hope that you get people that have some sort of motivation to sell.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And you said, and bandit signs are frowned upon. And did you say door knock? You can.
People do bandit signs for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Wow. Just, different laws. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were saying that you do some real estate investing yourself, Lou?
I do.
Yeah.
I've been in real estate for a long time, longer than I'd like to admit. And I've done a new construction. I've done many rehabs, a lot of rehabs in my day, and wholesales. So,
awesome.
And one of the things that has always been a commonality in real estate that I've worked in is the marketing. And I've realized a long time ago that if you can dial in the marketing side of the business, you just make life easier, whether it's online or not, right? It
Sure.
just, you need a good marketing machine within a business to make it consistent, predictable, viable over time. So I've always had just an affinity for it, from the marketing. So here I am. That's why I'm with Dan and the Nerds. And but I still do some things on the side as well, because it's a great business, and at the end of the day, you can commit full time to it, obviously, but you could also do it from a part-time perspective if you have the systems in place. So
well, I know based on my own experience, like marketing has been the hardest part, out of everything. Even doing fix and flips, I'd rather do the rehab, managing all that, than trying to figure out this marketing game. So I'm really happy that there's people like you guys out there that can help simplify it, so we don't have to do it.
Yeah. And that's why we have that role. And I think you look at it from like a flip perspective. I mean, are you going to, it's different. It's a different role, but you're not going to, get your plumbing license so you can do all the plumbing in your house, right?
Exactly.
You're not going to become an electrician. You have to farm that out. And I'm not saying it can't be done within, because we do help people and teach people how to do this from within. Or you can't figure it out yourself, because obviously people can. But it's just a matter of, you can also figure out how to be a plumber and get that license. But do you want to? Is it the best use of your time when you're flipping a home? No, we know that the answer is no. And in a lot of ways, this is similar, but maybe even more pivotal to the business, because this is what's going to create the deal that you can hire a plumber. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So. But yeah, it's we know it's an important aspect of the business, and we love it, and we know that it's people depend on us to make sure they have ROI and make sure things are working for the business. And it's once you have it nailed down, and again, not just online, but just marketing in general, it just makes life easier, in any business that you're working.
Sure. Yeah. Every business, that's the plan, right? It's trying to figure out how to market. Super Bowl ads.
Yeah. Like, even it's funny because you have, Coca-Cola, they sell colored carbonated sugar water. And they spend, I forget the number. I don't want to really throw it out, but is it $1 billion? Is it 500 million a year to continue to sell the same thing they've been selling for how long, and that everybody knows about?
Something everyone already knows their name. Yeah.
And that's going to, help people push them over the edge to pick up a Coke. And so it's just one of those things that is part of the, I guess,
struggle is part of every business.
It is. It's part of every business, and it's just something that got to be addressed in some ways. And yeah, we've been doing it a long time, and we really enjoy it.
So how can people get in touch with you guys?
So best way to get in touch, I mean, we have a podcast, so I would say that if anyone's interested in learning more about how to do this, even on their own, or find out more about it, we have a great podcast. It's and you can find everything at AdWordsNerds.com. So
I'll post a little thing on this video here for everyone.
Yeah, AdWordsNerds.com, and go there. You can see, there's some case studies. There's a podcast that really lays out some great stuff that people want to implement themselves. If anyone, through you or directly to me, if they wanted to reach out, I'm more than happy to talk with anyone about their business and what their needs may be, if it's even a good fit for what they're doing. So, and you can email me at Lou at AdWordsNerds.com. But yeah, we're all over, and there's a lot of great information and just more insight that can be garnered from the things we have online, and from a specific individual conversation if we ever get there. So
awesome. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you giving me some time here to talk to all all my crew. I think it's really useful, and it's something that I know a lot of us don't really know much about in this space. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, and thanks a lot. I look forward to continuing working with you, and
Well, it's
helping.
funny. I think I actually got another lead from our ads here while we were talking. I heard the clicking on the, on the video. So I'll have to go look when we
All
sign off.
right. Yeah, that's great. I love to hear that. Let me know how that works
Yeah,
out. And
for sure.
yeah, but no, I appreciate it. And I wish I could go even more deep into it and get in the weeds. There's just so many things to it, but at least you have a good idea of a general perspective. And yeah, I look forward to continue to work with you and talk to anyone else that needs any information. So
Awesome. All right, Lou. Well, you have a good rest of your day.
all right, you too, Cal. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.